After completing the main quest of Oblivion, I figured for this challenge we'd venture into unknown territory. Today we'll be diving into the Shivering Isles DLC, but to set the bar high, we're going straight to an old friend, a certain pacifist. Today's challenge is, can you beat the Shivering Isles without killing anything? As always, if you enjoy these types of videos, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Without further ado, let's dive into it. Much like with every adventure involving a challenge, I have to gear up, and luckily for me, after getting Mankar Cameron's children to evict the life from their father's body, I had some sweet digs and enchantments to charge headfirst into this DLC. I took a swim over to some spooky mouth monument thing and tried to talk to a Khajiit that wasn't there. Some dark elf started talking shit to a guard and he chased him off a cliff into the waters below. But Oblivion guards aren't like Skyrim guards. The guard chased the assailant and fought him to the death. Fucking mad. I swam down to loot the body and the guard told me this place was dangerous. After seeing that scuffle, I don't doubt him, but I have to go in and I have to complete the challenge. I went inside and talked with a fancy guy that asked me if I wanted to venture into madness, and then the room exploded into butterflies. After gaining my bearings on what was actually happening, I ventured to the first town and had some guy ask me about taking people's skin off. If this is how newcomers get greeted to this DLC, this is going to be wild. I continued moving through the town until I saw some guards standing around and found a door guarded by a monster. It didn't look all that tough, but after watching it single-handedly fight off 6 max difficulty dudes, I knew this was going to require a workaround. And that same flesh fetish weirdo said that he knew a way to deal with the gate guardian. But what would it cost? All it would take would be harvesting bones from a similar corpse and then making those bones into arrows. You know, normal adventurer type shit. With my new murder hobo companion, we broke into the cemetery and I supervised him fighting off skeletons guarding the corpse. We harvested some bones and then I was told to come find him after some time so the arrows could be crafted. But I couldn't wait that long, so I broke into his house and had him craft the arrows on the spot. It was time to go kill a gate guardian. Some lady was crying, but after trying to cast frenzy on her, it was clear she didn't want to take part in battle. I sat back and watched as an arrow guy fought the guardian who had no interest in me whatsoever. I tried getting its attention, but only after killing the archer would it attack me. The next issue was trying to have the archer survive. Sometimes the guardian would heal itself and that was just too much for flesh fetish to handle. But after getting the guardian on a set of stairs and its missing attacks, the archer finally slayed the beast and I could continue on with the DLC. Mr. Fancy Pants reappeared and said that his master would like to have a word, but first I'd have to travel across the whole world to get there. Luckily, during the last no-kill challenge, I had learned of the beneficial properties of skooma, and because my intelligence had already been damaged to 0, I consumed enough skooma to kill a small town of people and raced across the map. After what felt like forever, I finally made it to the big city and met with the big man himself, Sheogorath. He was telling me that a Grey March was coming and I was going to stop it. He didn't give me any details about it, but said I was definitely the guy for the job. I got told about a temple full of weird frog guys and crystals needed to operate it. A simple in and out job, but that description couldn't be any more further from the truth. After loading up on skooma, I ran over faster than any mount could carry me. The temple didn't look much different from any of the others I had previously ventured. You had some frog-looking bozos walking around like they owned the place, happy face and sad face switches on doors, and a quest objective that I could not figure out. I made the mistake of not downing an invisibility potion before heading in, but the Grummites instead didn't actually do a whole lot of damage unless they cornered you, in which case your life was forfeit and they beat you like you owed them money. Realizing that I had to go in sneakily, I scoped out the place, but I came to the same conclusion that I couldn't actually proceed. See, what the quest wants you to do is the Grummites have a shaman who has a staff, and to proceed in the quest you have to take that staff from the shaman and insert it into a device to open doors to allow you to proceed further. However, getting the shaman to lose the staff in a no-kill run is actually much harder than I had anticipated. See, to complete this quest, I had to become a scientist in Grummite biology. I tried Frenzy on every single Grummite I could find. I tried it on the Shaman and the regular little dudes, but Frenzy did not seem to affect them at all. I even took off all my armor thinking that maybe it was messing with my spell effectiveness, but that didn't change anything. I brought the difficulty from Salty Spittoon to Weenie Hut Jr. and just stood in a corner hoping that if they all attacked me at the same time, maybe one of them would kill the shaman in the process. And they did actually start to die, only to then be hit with the realization that Mankar Cameron's robe had reflect damage on it, which means they weren't killing each other, I was killing them passively. And my quest book also indicated that I had killed them, which means that was a no-go. So I did the next logical thing. I took off literally every kind of clothes I could that had any kind of attribute that would apply damage, and sat in a corner again hoping they could kill me. But after 6 minutes of them wailing on me with only casting healing spells, it was very clear that they would not hurt each other. I was gonna have to try something else. I came back the next day and tried to pickpocket these guys, but apparently Grommites have no pockets for loot, so you can't steal the staff off the shaman without him seeing you. I was beginning to lose any sense of hope that I had left for this challenge. I saw online that you could sometimes paralyze people and they would drop the things they were holding in their hands, and I even went as far as to cheat command in a paralyze spell since I didn't have any in my possession, only to find out that you could in fact paralyze them, but they wouldn't drop the staff. I was getting desperate. I even looked up speedrunning strats to see if maybe, just maybe, there was a way you could clip through a wall and force the game to continue, but any speedrun I saw of Shivering Isles had them do this quest legitimately every single time, which meant I was gonna have to kill these Grommites and fail my challenge, and I couldn't have that. So my last ditch effort was getting nature to do my dirty work for me. I lured the shaman and some of his homies outside to see if the local fauna would kill it, but after recruiting a skin dog, a baby what the fuck did I just write? But after recruiting a skin dog, a baby Grummite, and some kind of weird tree monster, nobody would touch this guy. I had been outside in the forest, wandering around, allowing all of these enemies to beat up on me for so long that the shaman had actually lost interest in me and was just casually walking back to the temple. I had to reassert my dominance and I'd punched him in the face, but because he had been attacking me for so long, his staff no longer had any charge, which means he wasn't doing any damage, which means we were at a stalemate. I tried casting Frenzy on all the nearby enemies, but of course, they could not be affected. I searched high and low through the internet trying to see if there was some way around this quest. Maybe I could get a follower, or maybe I could do just something else. But it turns out that any follower you could have from the main game, much like in Sanker Tor, they cannot enter this area, and any of the quests in this DLC that have followers, you have to complete this quest before you can even get those followers to follow you. Which means unless you completely cheat and no-clip or do a quest activation, you cannot do this quest legitimately. So as much as I hate to say it, so to answer the question you've all been waiting for, as you could probably have guessed from how long this video is, no, you cannot beat the Shivering Isles DLC without killing anything. I think I spent more time doing this challenge actually trying to find ways around not doing it than actually playing the game. This seems to just be one of those quests that Todd Howard in his infinite wisdom demanded the player to actually play a specific way. Now, the Shivering Isles isn't getting off easy, even though you can't beat it without killing anyone. On the next video, we're going back to another old character, and because that character has no issue killing things, we'll have a much more interesting time. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you're new, and if you have any other suggestions, or even if you have tips or tricks on some of the silliness that I could do to complete this challenge, also let me know in the comments, because the internet seems really scarce when you start trying to look up how not to do things. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.